Hey YouTube, what is going on? It is your boy Arrows here, and today we are showing you guys my updated Dragoon deck for Final Fantasy TCG. In this past Sunday's locals, I came in third. I went with a 2-1 record. I'm really excited to show you guys some of the changes we made and talk about some of the changes we still have to make. So without further ado, let's get into the video. But first, if you liked the video and want to see more Final Fantasy TCG content, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ding the notification bell so that you can be alerted whenever we post more Final Fantasy content. I want to try getting some more games recorded and all of that fun stuff. So let's get into the deck. Alrighty, so starting us off, we have 3 Glaucas. Glauca's ability is really awesome. The cost required to play my lightning forwards is reduced by 1, and whenever a lightning forward enters the field, I can give Glauca or another lightning forward plus 1,000. These numbers are really good for this version of Dragoons that I'm playing, so it is important to remember. Now we go into 3 of the Opus 2 rare Canes. This is probably one of the cards that I would like to change out for a better cane. This card is really good for what we're using it for. If I control a card named Rosa, we don't have a Rosa in this deck, so that's not really pertinent. But if you control a card named Rosa, Kane gains 2,000 haste and first strike, and the job forward Dragoons or the cards named Dragoons I control also gain plus 2,000 other than Kane. So numbers. Next up we have 1, 2, 3 Barbaras. This is probably one of the key cards in the deck. Barbara is a 4-drop lightning forward, and the job Dragoons and card named Dragoons that I control gain haste, and then for 1 I can pay 1 CP of any color, and I can choose 1 job Dragoon or a card named Dragoon other than Barbara and give it plus 1,000 until the end of the turn. The haste is the huge thing. When this deck has haste, it is scary. Then we're running a Freya package. We have 1, 2, 3 of the Opus 3 common Freyas. This card is amazing. It's a 3-drop, has haste and first strike, but its ability is where it really shines, especially late game when you have a field of Dragoons. Cherry Blossom, I discard another copy of Freya, and I pay 2 lightning CP. And for each job Dragoon or card named Dragoon I control, I deal 2,000 damage to all forwards my opponent controls. And now to pay for the cost, we're running 2 copies of the Opus 12 common dual color water lightning Freya and 1 copy of the Opus 8 Hero Freya. The Hero Freya is another solid attacker if we need to go into it. If I control a job Dragoon or card named Dragoon other than Freya, Freya gains haste. And when Freya enters the field or attacks, I can choose 1 forward my opponent controls, and it loses 2,000 power until the end of turn. These 2 Freyas are just in here to pay for this Freya. I guess same with this Freya in the end. I would like to drop one of these and add another one of these ones in. It's just a matter of getting the cards. We are also running 2 copies of the Opus 11 Legendary Aranea and 1 copy of the Opus 15 Common Aranea EX. This one is really cool because it lets me get more cards in my hand. When I play it or when it's EX bursted, I can reveal the top card of my deck. If it's a lightning forward, a lightning card actually, I can add it to my hand. And at damage 3, the job Dragoon forwards I control gain plus 2,000. So that one is really good. But this one is the star of the deck. This one can be the star of the deck. This one is a 4-drop. It has first strike. And for each forward other than Aranea I control, Aranea gains 1,000 power. At damage 3, when she comes onto the field, I can choose a lightning forward of cost 2 or less in my break zone and play it on the field. And then at damage 6, Ariana gains all forwards I control gain haste. That last one isn't really necessary because we do have Barbara that is going to be giving us haste as well. But it is very good if we are in a situation where we don't have a Barbara. And now rounding into our actual Dragoons, we're running 3 copies of the Opus 6 Common Dragoon. It is a 2-drop standard unit. For each job Dragoon and card name Dragoon on the field, this Dragoon gains plus 2,000 power. So if you have 2 of these on the field and a bunch of other Dragoons, these are really, really strong. And then we are running 3 copies of the Opus 14 Common Dragoon. When this Dragoon enters the field, I choose 1 forward, and until the end of turn, it loses 3,000 power for each job Dragoon or card Dragoon I control. This is really good. If I have like 4 Dragoons on the field, I can pretty much knock out whatever I want. And then we're running 3 copies of the Opus 8 Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced Dragoon. The cost to play this Dragoon is reduced by 1 for each job Dragoon or card name Dragoon. So if I have a Glauca and another Dragoon on the field, I can drop this for 1. Good stuff. And then we are running 3 copies of the Opus 12 Common Dragoon. When this Dragoon enters the field, I can reveal any number of Dragoons or job Dragoons or card name Dragoons from my hand. If I reveal at least 1, then it gains haste, and if I reveal 4, I can choose a forward and break it. That last part doesn't really come up that much for me, I find. And if Barbara's not on the field, then this is just another way to drop a unit, give it haste, and do a damage. So then we're running 2 copies of the Opus 13 Common Dragoon. It is a 5-drop, but if I've played a Dragoon, either a card named or a job Dragoon on this turn, the cost required to play it is reduced by 3. That drops it to 2. If Glauca's on the field, makes it 1. Really, really good. This is a very cost-efficient deck, and it has haste, so haste is good. Then we're running 2 copies of the Opus 8 Final Fantasy 14 Dragoon. This is probably my least favorite Dragoon. If anything, I would want to take this one out, but I don't know what I would put in for it instead. Obviously, I'm not running in the Opus 6 Legendary Estinian. I need to get a couple of copies of that as well, so maybe that'll be what replaces this. It's a 4-drop. If I control 3 or more job Dragoons or cards named Dragoon, it gains haste and first strike. So it's not a bad card, it's just I find it's the one that I play the least. And now into our non-Dragoon forwards, we are running 2 copies of Rama, Lord of Levin. I freaking love this card. Freaking love this card. So this is a 5-drop, but with Glauca on the field, it'll be a 4-drop. If you have 2 or more lightning summons in your break zone, this card gains haste. I actually found out, because I'm still relatively new to Final Fantasy, like not new, but I don't play consistently enough to be like a big rules, know a lot of how card mechanics work. We're learning. I found out that if I drop a lightning forward if I have 1 lightning forward in my break zone and I drop another lightning forward, another lightning summon, in there after he's already on the field, he'll still gain haste. It's not an effect that triggers when he enters the field, which is really cool. But what he's here for is his other ability. When Ramo or one of my lightning summons deals damage to a forward, we automatically break it. Doesn't matter how much damage we deal to it. If we deal damage to it, we automatically break it. So, and that is really interesting, and you'll see why in a second. Heading into our backups, we are playing 3 copies of the Opus 12 Common Dragoon backup. The cool thing about this is that it being named Dragoon powers up all my other effects. So if I had 3 Dragoons as forwards, like Freya, and 2 other Dragoons as forwards, and he's in the backup, that's 8,000 damage we're doing with Freya's Cherry Blossom. His ability is really good as well. You can break him, put him in the break zone, choose 1 Dragoon, either job or name, and add it to my hand. Really good card. We are playing 3 copies of the Class 6 Moogle. It's a 2-drop, and when it's on the field, it also produces water CP. This is kind of important in case I get into a bind where I need to play Freya, or I need to play the Water Freya. So, really good card to have. 2 King of Burmesia's EX. When he enters the field or an EX burst, I get to search a card named Dragoon and add it to my hand. 2 copies of Lulu. She powers up all my lightning forwards by 1,000. 1 copy of Alice. At the beginning of my turns, I can reveal the top card of my deck. If it's a Dragoon, add it to my hand. If it's not a Dragoon, put it in the break zone. And then I can put them in the break zone, choose 1 forward, and doll it. And then 3 copies of our Raiden Summon. It deals 2,000 damage to all active forwards. I get to draw a card. If Rameau's on the field, this triggers, and it breaks all those forwards. And finally, we're rounding it out with 1 copy of the 4-drop Rameau EX. This will not trigger off of the Lord 11's ability. This is one of the other cards I need to change. But I choose a forward, it loses 7,000 power, and then if it's EX bursted, they lose 8,000 power. So that's my Dragoon deck. I really enjoy it. We came 3rd with it, and if you like, once again, if you like the video, like it, subscribe, ding the notification bell, because we're going to be bringing you a lot more Final Fantasy content coming out soon. And have yourselves a great night.